James, fantastic run, 6 unbeaten. Presumably the feeling amongst the players must be really, really good at the moment.
Yeah, obviously very, very positive feeling around the place, which there always is, to be honest. Obviously results matter, but as a group we're always quite positive, and we all enjoy being around here, so obviously results can sort of keep us a bit more upbeat, but the feeling around the ground's always good, so results don't affect it too much.
What is it that has changed over the last 6 weeks or so? Because it wasn't so long ago that you were flirting with the bottom three and people were talking about relegation, but now things have completely changed.
I think probably just been rewarded for our performances a bit more. Sometimes we've played well and probably not got the points we deserved. And then I think if you look at the game from last weekend, we weren't at our best going forward, but we sort of stuck at it defensively pretty good, and we managed to get a part of the game. But when you sort of get to the 85th, 90th minute, you look at the clock and you think good point away from home. So a bit more rewarding for our performances, and obviously defensively we've sort of stuck at our job and kept the goals out.
How important do you think momentum is going to be now, between now and the end of the season?
Yeah, I think it's close. Obviously, there's a battle down the bottom, and then we're sort of in touching distance of a few teams above us. So for us, it's sort of like looking at game by game, and hopefully we can pick up points and sort of stick with them and try and catch them up. There's still plenty of points to play for, but a quick string of results together, a few wins, and you can sort of work yourself right at that table.
Are you still looking at the bottom end then? Because I mean, obviously you're a couple of points away from that magic 40-point target that everybody talks about in terms of Premier League security, but you've still got to get there.
Yeah, of course, you want it guaranteed, but won't we get into that sort of stage and then sort of just down in tools and thinking our season's done? We've been in a position before where we're quite high up the table. We managed to stick at it and get a good points total, so hopefully we can keep putting some points on the board and working out up the table rather than looking below us.
Dare you think about the possibility of being in Europe again next season?
It'd be nice, of course. It's something that which we'd all like to do, to sort of look at and go and achieve. But obviously, as I said, the main priority first of all is to make sure we get the points on the board to stay in the league, and then from that we can sort of look above and go and try and catch some teams.
11 clean sheets, I think it is now in the Premier League. Only Liverpool have managed more this season. That's incredible, isn't it? And it clearly says that you're doing something right at the back.
Yeah, we've had quite a consistent back four for the season, which is nice. Obviously, the fullbacks have chopped and changed a little bit, but me, Ben and Popey have sort of been there all season, which is sort of that consistency is quite nice. But the whole team puts a full shift in the game, and you've sort of seen that over recent weeks, how much our wingers do and our forwards do to help us out. And then if anyone does break past us, we can always learn Popey to sort of make that save that we need.
When you've got those three in particular that are week in, week out there all the time, how much does that help? Does you almost know each other in terms of what you're going to do every week and how you work?
Yeah, it does. It sort of just comes a bit more natural to each other. We sort of know each other's game. We know where I sort of expect where Ben to be and where he expects me to be at certain times. And that cover around each other. You're going to get beat at some point by your man, but knowing that your teammates around you helping you out is quite important. And those little details that we've sort of shown over these last few weeks has really helped us out.
Obviously Spurs this time round. Do you think this is a good time to be taking them on?
Yes and no. Maybe there's a bit more expectation on us because they're missing two of their big hitters. But there's still a squad of very talented players. So I'm not expecting an easy day out for sure. But as you said, you're missing Harry and Son, who were two of the big names in the squad. Then obviously there's maybe a chance there for us to still go and put a good performance in.
Obviously, top players will always say that they want to test themselves against top players, but when you're facing a team like Spurs and you realise that Son and Kane are both missing, does that kind of give you a little bit of relief? Does it make the job a little bit easier for you, do you think?
I don't think it makes it easier. I think maybe from your perspective, maybe it does, but not for me, no. There's still a player in front of me that I've got to stop from scoring goals. And as a team, we've got to go and beat 11 men, so the job's not any easier for sure.
Obviously, last night we saw Eric Dyer making his way into the crowd to remonstrate with a fan. Have you ever been in a position where you felt that is something that you've even considered, or is it anything that ever crosses your mind that you would be in a position to do that, or do you could just kind of try and put it to one side and whatever people say or shout at you or whatever in a game, is it difficult to just try and put that to the back of your mind?
Me personally, I've never felt that myself. I've always just ignored anything I've really heard from fans. It doesn't really affect me, but I don't really know what was said and what has really provoked Eric to go and do what he did. Obviously, something's been done for him to go and do that. Whether it was the right decision or not, obviously Eric's decided to go and do it. But it's difficult. He's just a man out there just doing his job, and obviously something's provoked him that much that he's felt the need to go into the stands and say something. So obviously it's unfortunate the way it's happened for him and the way he's reacted. But I hope it's not dealt with too seriously, because I've been on England caps of Eric. It's not something. He doesn't strike me as someone who's quite ill-mannered or bad-tempered. But obviously something's provoked him.
Hi, Taki. We touched on it there. You're sort of pairing with Ben. I think both of you have played every minute of every Premier League game this season. That must help in terms of developing that understanding and that consistency. Yeah,
but we've played a lot of games together now. Since I came to the team a few years ago, we've pretty much probably played 90% of the games together. And even before that, I was obviously watching Ben and seeing how he works and know how good he is. But obviously having that partnership and being quite continuous for over these last few years, it's nice to have that ongoing, and it seems to be working quite well.
We talk a lot about strikers having a sort of natural understanding with each other, and does that work at centre back as well, do you think, in that sense?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, I feel like we've just sort of figured out each other's game next to each other, and we sort of know what to expect. And I think, as I said before, if you can sort of cover on your teammate, but you know what decision he's going to make at the same time, it's quite easy to read, and you can sort of be together and work as a pair.
And what about off the field as well? Are you good mates with Ben?
Yeah, I am a good mate with everyone, to be honest. Though we've got such a close-knit group. It's something which has really worked here. That anyone who's ever signed or come into the group has always fitted in really well. So obviously, yeah, me and Ben get on, but so does everyone.
Lights is still your favourite, is he?
Yeah, he is.
And I guess when you've got a squad that perhaps isn't as big as other Premier League clubs, that camaraderie perhaps is even more important at somewhere like Burnley, given the shorter numbers.
Yeah, it's not a huge squad, but I think there's plenty of strength there. You've seen recently that people have come in who haven't played too many games and come fitted in really well and done well. Obviously, Vids came in after not playing for a long time and scored 2 very important goals for us. So we haven't got a massive squad, but the strength within that squad's pretty good.
We mentioned then the clean sheets, obviously 11. I think Gareth Southgate was at the game last week watching on as well. How much would you love to get back involved in that England setup?
Yeah, of course. I think any English player wants to be involved in that England squad, especially into the summer. So it's something that I would love to be a part of. But I know the only way to do that is by what I've been doing recently on the pitch, and I need to continue that and show consistency to my game.
Do you think about it? Do you think I played really well there? Hopefully that's put a seed in Gareth's mind, or is it a case of just concentrating on what you do?
Yeah, not so much as in thinking I've played well and thinking that the England manager's seen it. I think more for me is knowing that I've done well and helped my team out and we get a result from the game. That's the more important side of it for me.
And just lastly for me, Burnley were in the FA Youth Cup last night. I know a couple of first team players were there. I think some of those lads have trained with the first team squad this season. Just how important is it for them to see the progress being made, and the likes of Dwight, obviously, who's come through the system and gone on to make an impact in the first team?
Yeah, well, we've seen a few of them train with us recently and they've done really well. I know Tony Philskirk's sort of in charge down there now, coaching, who I worked with when I was very young. And I know he's done such a good job for many years bringing players through. So it's good to see how well the youth team have done. Obviously, unfortunate last night. But there seems to be a sort of group of players coming through there, which seems to be quite exciting, and hopefully we get a few more coming up to the first team.
I guess you've got that first-hand experience as well with Tony, having worked with him at Oldham, wasn't it?
Yeah, I know what Tony's about. I think he's got a very similar ethos to the way the gaffer works. So it's nice to see he's come here, and obviously he's doing really well, because the results and performances of the youth team have been good this year. Obviously, but his job is to get players through into the first team, and hopefully see a few more coming.
Thank you.